Hello everyone, welcome back once again. DRL channel once more. This is Supreme Overlord Radish back in the comms booth. Who would have thought that I'd be making my return again after such a while? It's good to be back, and of course introducing this brand new season of DRL X NES GT Championship. It's going to be a collaboration project. We're starting off here in the very sunny Blue Moon Bay Infield A circuit, and it's going to be hosting of some great action, no doubt. We're already seeing some good lap times of 106s being set, so plenty to look forward to. Gonna quickly run you through the format. Race 1 will last for 20 minutes. The grid for Race 1 is being chosen already through a randomizer app. And for Race 2 will be the grid based on the results from Race 1. And Race 2 will last for 40 minutes. So it's going to be split essentially an hour's worth of racing into a 20-minute and a 40-minute stint. It's going to be the classic Group 3 category kicking us off. Real life GT3 machines, as you may be able to see here, is rotary from I believe it's Paradox Auto Works or something along those lines. Let me just quickly check on the thread. It doesn't actually say. Well, it's not listed as the teams anyway, but let me check. It is indeed Paradox Auto Works, car 32. They are going to be looking very strong here, as we know the GTR is very well suited to high-speed tracks, suffers a bit in the corners, but it's going to be certainly a strong contender, that's for sure. Their teammate, Swablu, also for Paradox, they are going to be another interesting one to watch. They are in the NES a pro split driver, so they've certainly proved they have quite a lot of pace. You expect to see them at the very sharp end of the field, especially with that car. Benji, a brand new competitor to DRL and NES, they have decided to take on McLaren as the Maltese driver, which interesting choice. Of course, last season you may remember the McLaren of I believe it was Foxcatcher Racing in the bright white livery not doing as well as they would have hoped for, but Benji seems to be getting quite a lot out of that McLaren at the moment. We have A.R.T. Hagee, as he has corrected me on multiple times regarding pronunciation of his name. Car 96 for the Arrows Racing team. Once again, I believe. Yep, Arrows Racing. And their teammate, of course, currently top of the timing sheets. They were looking very impressive throughout the practice sessions. It is Roland Jupiter. Who would have thought since Super Formula that he would be towards the sharp end, but he certainly improved his driving quite a lot. We look forward to seeing how his racecraft has developed a bit later on in Race 1. We have Wybear here in the Honda NSX. Fantastic livery on that thing. Fantastic noise it makes too. Oreo sponsorship on that. Makes you think if he's got a little bit of backing from Sugar Rush Performance and Wake CU. In the other McLaren we have Rappi the Pro from Italy. Going to be interesting to see how they do. Car 33. Again, these McLarens are looking a lot stronger than they did last season. Perhaps it was a physics change or a BOP change or something, but they certainly seem to be a lot more competitive than before. Bad Box is here, the only Ferrari at this moment in the championship, car number 0. They are currently ghosters, they are paused. with hazard stripes on the back of that car with an L sticker. Always good to see the banter. Here is Tribe Racing of the Mercedes team. Again, I just need to quickly scroll on the thread to see team names. Carbon, if you're listening, please can we have that somewhere easier to find on the thread? It is Team Night Ride, sponsored by NTS. That fantastic looking burgundy, white and blue design. Looking very, very professional there. Bad Box and the Ferrari still making their way around. Let's see if we can find anyone else. Oh, bit of contact down at turn 1. Would seem that there's a bit of banter going on between Carbon and the Paradox Autoworks car of... I'm gonna take a guess that's Swablu in the red. I could be wrong. Yeah, I think I just got a glimpse of the number. So of course Carbon, again, very experienced with the M6. We look forward to seeing how the Irishman is going to do. Of course, one of the series organisers here alongside myself. One also to watch, here he is in the other Mercedes, is the Joe 2 guy, also known as Joe of the Fire from the NES. He's been showing to be towards the top end of that series, so we're hoping to see some more very high-speed action from him today. He was the fastest in the practice session, so we're going to see if he can carry that over to the main race. As my phone has decided to stop, let's reset that. Hello to Rotary in chat, and hello to Mythical as well. Good to have you along. Of course, let me just switch cameras here. Another entry, of course, RBZ Arama. I believe the last entry of the ones that are here at the moment in the Audi R8 of Audi Sport Team Nukeshot. I would normally be racing alongside him, but the commentator has unfortunately had to miss this particular round. Not sure if he's just missing this round or whether it's future ones as well, but I'm just standing in for him today. So these lads causing absolute mayhem down at the hairpin. The Blue Moon Bay Infield A circuit is a very short and sweet layout. It's certainly a Marmite track. You either love it or you hate it. It's the only Roval in Gran Turismo Sport at the moment. Here's to hoping Daytona makes a return. Just seeing if we can find someone who's about to go onto a lap. We're going to go on board with Bad Box and see if we can get a lap of the circuit from him. He goes on to the lap after his outlap. Turn 1, very easy to be caught out by that. The banking isn't smooth transition wise, and you can see the Ferrari sliding a bit, struggling, and on exit you want to get as close to the wall as possible to set yourself up for turn 2 and then 3. At a point you can go flat and still make it to the left hand side for 3 on the right side in order to get onto 4 properly. Then you got a bit of a straight line run here through 5 just for kink. You can go through that flat under the bridge and braking for turn 6, the hairpin, slowest corner on the circuit, and a bit of an acceleration up towards braking at just around the 50 marker at the double apex. We've seen many a driver caught out there before in DRL. And then the very tricky to get right second to last corner. As you can see, Bad Box getting it wrong on entry. A lot of the drivers have been taking quite large liberties in terms of the track limits there. However, the game allows it, so I suppose we'll allow it as well. And across the line, And that is your lap of the Blue Moon Bay Infield A Speedway. Hello to Rappy in chat, hello to the Arrows Racing series as well. Good to have you guys along. John Wandering, booing me in chat. I knew this would be happening upon my return. Thanks for making me feel so welcome. Joe the Fire, as we're seeing purple sector 1. He was fast as well in the practice session. As I mentioned, top of the timing sheets there, but it's not going to affect the grid for race 1. We've had a randomizer app take care of that. I shall quickly get that up for you so you can know the grid. It should be on this, just checking Discord. I shall attempt to find it shortly. Is it here? No. Apologies for the slight technical difficulties. Okay, it's not there. What about this thread? It should be here. Carbon, where'd you post the randomizer thing again? Can't find it. Things are going well. I should be able to... I assume the grid's already set from here. Yeah, that seems to line up with what it was before. So it would be Rappy on pole with Tribe second, Bad Box third, Carbon starting 4th, John Wander in 5th, Rotary 6th, Roland 7th, Benjeet in 8th, Wyber 9th, Arama 10th, Joe fastest in practice in 11th, can be interesting to see how they do from there, Hagee in 12th, and Swablu in 13th. There, improvisation. Not entirely across the nation just yet, but we're getting there, we're getting there. So again, thanks for tuning in to the race. We're currently at 7 viewers. That is fantastic to see, especially since we've had a fair bit of a break from DRL for quite a while. Hello to Benjeet in the chat as well. Nice to have the drivers tuning in. So of course race 1 will be the 20-minute race. No pit stop required in that one, I recall correctly. Let me just go through the rules. I believe it's listed somewhere here. Yep. Race 1 tyre changes are not mandatory. We're dealing with heavy damage in both of the races though. So let's hope that everyone keeps it clean, especially through turn 1. Some of the newer competitors might struggle a bit through there, especially the ones nearer the front. We are going to have to see how they go. Just try and survive the first lap is my advice to everyone else, and then just see what comes from it there. So Carbon about to come across the line. What's his time going to be? It's a 106.856. That is completely irrelevant as we're having a randomized grid, but interesting to note the times these guys are setting. Here's what I mean about Benjeet again. He's currently 3rd fastest in the McLaren that was so bad last season, so it's doing a lot better for itself now. Fantastic noise it makes as well. As I just got a notification, I forgot to turn those off. Hold on. Apologies. It has been quite a while since I've done this whole commentary thing. There we go. We are back. So it is 7 PM and that means that race 1 should be getting underway shortly. Not too long to wait now. It's just a case of making sure everyone is ready, and then we can get the action kicked off for the first race of the season. Regarding the point system, it is 20 points for first. For second you'll get 16, then 14 for third, then 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, and then 11th down you will get just 1 point. And I assume not finishing will equal no points. I could be mistaken on that. Calendar is provisional at the moment, but the provisional calendar currently is here at Blue Moon Bay, and next round we will be going to Spa-Francorchamps, which I believe is confirmed. Fuji Speedway in December, first race of December. That is going to it's a bit up in the air with that one at the moment. Have to see how it goes. And Nürburgring GP on the 14th. And then we have, of course, the Christmas break. On the 4th of January, once we get back, we're heading to Suzuka provisionally. Again, it's another one that might change. Brands Hatch on the 11th. Then Interlagos on the 18th. Again, another provisional one with that. And the finale at Monza. The interesting thing about this series is it's broken up into different tours. So we've got 4 tracks from European regions, and we have 4 tracks from Asia and the Americas, and they are separated into their own championships and also combined into a world championship. So 3 different championships all squeezed into an 8-race series. It's going to be interesting to see how that develops as we get further into the season, but right now we are just going to see roughly where everyone stands. Of course, we do have a lot of unknowns going into this, a lot of really fast drivers, good mix of speed classes. We've just heard that Fred Dude is going to be on his way, so that's going to be another one towards the sharp end of the grid. I recall them being in a BMW M6. At least they are in the NES, so let's hope that they can get here as soon as possible so we can get to the action. Joe just coasting along at the moment. And here is Fred. Obi-Wan Kenobi himself, hello there. Look at that, 6/1000ths of a second separating Roland from Joe in this pre-race practice 2, if you will. So good effort by Roland. Swablu in the GTR should be another one to watch out for. They've got plenty of experience in the NES with that car. Oh, slight bit of lag on exit. I'm gonna have to keep a lookout for any severe lag. Hope not really affected that much. Regarding the actual grid size, it's fantastic to see so many able to turn out here at Blue Moon Bay. First race of the season, I know. It seems to be the race that the majority of people make it, and then of course it fades out a bit as the season goes on. But nevertheless, I know a lot of these guys. I know that they are going to be committed to this for as long as they can be. As we see the R8 and the RCF go for a bit of a drag race down the straight into turn 1. Arama outbrakes him round the outside. Very brave stuff by my teammate there. Didn't hire him for nothing. Nice helmet. Very aerodynamic. Here's Rotary in the other Paradox car. The Minty Boy making a return. As I think we're about to get things underway here. Going to race control. Yep, not long to go now. John Wondering saying that he let him die. Sure thing. One that's going to be interesting in the mod, just saw Wybear in that NSX. Could be an interesting proposition. Oh no, Swablu's just disconnected, have they? Oh no, that's of concern. We might have to have a red flag and restart for that. We more than likely will do. Here's the grid anyway of what will be happening shortly. Rappy the Pro on pole in that McLaren. Tribe second, Badbox third, Dynamic Carbon fourth. That is your top four. Swablu is indeed back. We're gonna have to have this red flag, I assume. We're gonna hear from Carbon regarding that. It would certainly be a shame if we didn't. Nevertheless, it's green, 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 and the cars are off, at least for now. And yep, red flag. It has been called, as I suspected. Very sporting of the drivers. Why is everything Swablu's fault? Yep, can we have some more Fs in chat for Swablu? Sad times for the lad. So already off to a great start. In all seriousness, can't really predict that kind of thing happening. Should be plain sailing from now on, but we just don't know. Well, that's pretty much erased all the times everyone had. And I believe Swablu would have to be reset manually to his grid place. Carbon, if you're listening. Just make sure that gets done. Some fantastic livery designs. Always been a good place to see good livery craftsmanship. As Benji heavy into the wall, and that is going to be quite a lot of damage for the Maltese driver. Car number 7 struggling. Are they going to go into the pits? Indeed they are. It's almost like teleportation there. Car gets repaired and on its way again. Hello to Bambi Sim Racing, welcome to the stream. Yeah, we just had a disconnect from Swablu at the start. I know Swablu causing trouble again. But he's back now, and we are going to be getting this race back underway as soon as possible. So of course, race 1, as I mentioned, 20 minutes. Race 2 will be the grid of the finishing order of race 1 and will be 40 minutes. As we're seeing a fair bit of chaos. Oh dear, bit of a spike. So we don't get too many of those. Fantastic turnout again. Great to see. Oh, even the stream had a bit of a glitch at that moment, just saw. Well, we're starting again. Let's hope things go a bit smoother than they did. And here we are then, about to get things underway at the Blue Moon Bay Speedway, the infield A layout. It is the McLaren on pole. It's going to be Rappy the Pro starting us off with Tribe alongside, Bad Box in third, Carbon fourth, John Wandering fifth, Rotary in sixth, Roland seventh, and Benji in eighth. More cars a bit further down the order. It's going to be a rolling start, so hopefully a bit less chaotic than the norm. And cars rolling their way off towards the start line. And we're about to get things underway here at the Blue Moon Bay Speedway. It's green, 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 and the cars are off. Straight away into the slipstream goes Tribe as they make their way down towards very tricky turn 1. Surely at these slower speeds it's not going to be as tricky as at full racing speeds. Look at this from Carbon already trying to go down the inside. As a bit further back as well, a bit of action going on with Rotary. There you see them, they're up to 5th at this point as they're running wide. They're onto the grass, and that's Bear in the background getting it wrong. Bear into a spin. Have they picked up damage? Yes, they have. Back to the front. Rappy seems to do a good job leading them off at the moment. Oh, down the inside goes John Wandering. That's a fantastic move from the American, although a bit of a squeeze on exit might allow Benji to get up the order. Oh, into the wall goes John Wandering. May have picked up damage from that. Round the outside goes the Aston Martin. As we now complete lap 1. McLaren showing it's got a good straight line speed on it. And down the inside it goes. Oh, the Aston nearly making a counter attack there. The Lexus also looking to get involved. And the GTR actually moves up a place on the Lexus. And side by side up ahead as well, as you just about see, there it is. Roland passed by Benji. So the McLaren's doing really well in these opening stages. Meanwhile, that's Carbon up to 2nd. So they've managed to get ahead of Tribe. That's a great start there by the Irishman. That M6 serving him well. Will now try his best to get onto the back of Rappy. Fantastic scenes we're seeing once again, as there seems to have been a little bit of contact further back in the field. Not quite sure what was going on there. We're going to have a replay. So there's a bit of a lock-up from Bad Box and a little bit of contact between them and the R8 of Arama. So it seemed to get them a little bit unsettled. They're back racing again. Carbon all over the back of Rappy the Pro. You're going to go for cameras. Rear wing shot. No, we're not, because the pass is being made. Round the outside Carbon goes. Has to try and get a bit of a cutback through the hairpin. The McLaren holds its ground for now. Oh, it's sliding a bit. BMW gets a bit of a smoother exit. That Mercedes of Tribe is also sticking with them quite nicely. The top 5 seem to be in a group. I can count, trust me. As Carbon just about managing to get ahead, but side by side. And the McLaren seems to have a slight advantage, straight line, and the Mercedes down the inside. 4 wide as they go towards turn 1. This isn't going to end well, lads. And somehow Benji has managed to make it work. Up into the lead of the race goes Benji. And the Mercedes is going to get a position, are they? 3 wide still. Oh, contact, and that's the McLaren off. That is Rappy sent into the wall. We are going to have to get a replay of that one. What happened to poor Rappy? It was all kicking off, it was fantastic while it lasted. Just a little punt by the Mercedes sent them into Carbon. That's going to be both cars with damage. So unfortunate stuff for Carbon as well. It's looking so good for them. They're going to have to probably pit to repair the damage. So that's put Benji in a very good position. Roland 2nd. Those are the only 2 from that scrap that seem to have survived. As we have a car off. Down at the hairpin. I think that was Bear. What happened to Bear? Did he just lose it on his own? Yep, got on the grass, oversteered into the wall. Benji somehow managing to mid-race. Don't text and drive, kids. The battle for third is still on, or rather the battle for fourth. That's Tribe and Rappy going at it. Can the Mercedes do anything? Going into the hairpin, not quite. Bit further back, we're seeing a Rama on the back of Swablu. Interesting to note, as Joe the Fire, or rather the Joe 2 guy, as that's a Rama going really wide. I thought they may have messed it up going through there, hitting the wall, but no, they've survived somehow. But as I was just mentioning, the Joe 2 guy currently with the best lap of the race. Hagee just ahead of Carbon. So everyone already very spread out. It's getting very difficult to keep track of everyone. Bad box off into the wall again. That's more damage for them. They're running ABS off. That more than likely might have something to do with it. Benji coming under pressure again. Will the Aston Martin be able to get a run? As we're seeing an even bigger battle towards the 4th, 5th and 6th region. So the Joe 2 guy has managed to get himself up to 4th. Great run by him. As that is also the Mercedes of Tribe gonna go through, are they? No, the McLaren gets a better exit. Will they try and stick it out through there? Second to last, no. The Mercedes backs out, wisely so, going to try and get a run in the slipstream. John Wandering also doing well. They are in 7th, just off the back of these guys in that white and green Lexus. Still, Roland chases. It seems Benji has just about got the measure of them at the moment. The McLaren might be wearing its tyres more, being mid-engine. Have to see how that plays out. Oh, the Aston has a good run. Going on board with Roland's car. Still with that Niki Lauda tribute helmet. Into the double apex. I think there's going to be blue flags coming up shortly. Not sure who that is. That's how spread out the field is already after the carnage. As for third, Rotary is coming under a bit of pressure from Joe, so Joe has caught up quite significantly in that Mercedes. It's going down the inside, and the GTR muscles its way back past with that fantastic straight line speed that has been so beneficial to it. Down into turn 1. See how the Mercedes is slightly better on the apex, and alongside again goes Joe, has to slot back in. It's very risky making a move going into turn 2, perhaps turn 4. Nope, sticks behind him again, tries to get a little bit of a cutback, as Roland has actually managed to get up into the lead of the race. This just on the braking zone down towards the hairpin, I wonder. It would seem to be the case. Yep, little bit of contact between the two of them, but there they are. And now it's the McLaren's turn to chase in the slipstream. Far more aerodynamically shaped, I would imagine, the McLaren, more of a wedge shape. And indeed, back up into the lead goes Benji. With Joe going and swapping positions actually with Rotary again, so the GTR just about managing to hold its own as Swablu into the pits. That will be for damage repair without a doubt, so unfortunate for that Nissan. Meanwhile, Arama's managed to catch up to these guys in that Audi, so the Audi doing well at the moment. They're in 7th, trying to keep up with Rappy and Tribe. Tribe seeming to get away a bit, and down the inside goes the R8. just about gets that one to work. And in fact there's a massive horde of cars behind. Down the inside goes Hagee. Is there a little bit of contact between them and the McLaren? It's going to be a rush down towards the double apex. Carbon also going to try and go around the outside, are they? Bit of a twitch from the McLaren. And somehow we're almost up to 6th then, from all of this. Good effort by them so far. Carbon, of course, they were in an incident earlier on with Rappy. And Rappy into the pits. Oh, they've got damage. That explains the slight lack of pace from them at this stage. Still, the battle continues at the front between Benji and Roland. As that's a send and a half down the inside by Roland, and they get the position, but are they going to just lose it again on this straight? Gonna have to see. Meanwhile, oh, the R8 on the ragged edge on the exit of 4, and now we're nearly going 3 wide again as we go down towards the hairpin. Fantastic dueling at the moment. The R8 just about holds off the Mercedes on the outside. They're gonna get swamped. They're gonna have the inside for the double apex. And the Mercedes, oh, slide from the Aston, and there's carnage. Braking markers taken off. Hagee in the wall. That's Tribe as well in the Aston Martin. That's the Mercedes. What happened here then? We're gonna go on board from Tribe's perspective. This is just hit from behind, I think. It's gonna have to go into the pit, so unfortunate stuff for them. Losing out a bit more time. And again, the dueling continues at the front. Swablu still with Carbon, so this is the scrap we were seeing. And GTR should be able to get a bit of a run down towards the hairpin, are they? No, not quite. Perhaps being a bit heavier, also suffering a bit on the brakes. As there's a car around, I'm not sure who that is. It's the Ferrari of Bad Box. What happened to them? Oh, just running a bit too fast through turn 2 on the grass and spinning it around. They're gonna have to bring that one back to the pits. Side by side for the lead. Roland goes through on the McLaren. Great move once again, flash of the lights. But again, will the McLaren be able to challenge back? Some fantastic racing we're seeing throughout the field as the McLaren does go down the inside. As I think there's something else going off at around this point. Yes, the Audi going a bit slower, sliding on the exit of 4. The GTR's gotten through, and there is Fred Dude as well in the other BMW. No team relation to the one Carbon's in. Oh, massive slide from Swablu. They've got it all wrong. And Arama back up to 5th. Oh, slide again. The GTR also getting a bit of a poor exit. Carbon's going to try the outside, hitting the braking marker. Oh, contact between Fred and Swablu as well. It's not going to help either of them. Have they picked up damage? Swablu certainly has. They've gone into the pits. Still, the lead battle continues. McLaren versus Aston Martin, 2 fantastic British brands battling it out here at Blue Moon Bay at the front of the field. Someone has gone off at the hairpin. I think that may have been Bad Box again in the Ferrari. Just caught a glimpse of that. So much action going off at the moment up and down the field. Wybear also having a bit of a twitchy moment through turn 1, it seemed, on the map. Again, the run down towards turn 1. What is the Aston going to do? Going to try the outside. Risky. Has to just stick behind for now. Joe will be closing those guys down, but he's pretty much on his own at the moment. Rotary pretty much the same, as that is a ROM into the pits. No damage, just getting fresh tyres. The RA does wear them out fairly quickly, with it being quite a slide McGee at times. Down the inside goes the Aston Martin. Fantastic move by Roland, but will Benji in the McLaren be able to hang it around the outside of the double apex? Oh, a little bit of contact again on the grass goes the McLaren. Your man Tribe? Tribe is down in... Where is Tribe? 12th. Right now, he's coming under a bit of pressure from John Wandering, actually. So, interesting little scrap going off there between the two of those. Again, everywhere you go, there's action. It's fantastic to see. So, John, flashing his lights, gonna try his best to see if he can find a way through. We're coming to the end of the race, actually, lap 14 of 18. Not too long to go now. Everything counts. Of course, this being the shorter race. Will he be able to maximize the slipstream we go on board? Here's the speedometer. Just about hitting 166 miles an hour and braking. The Mercedes very slidey. Back up at the leader thinks the McLaren again. These two are just constantly swapping positions. And there in the background you see the Mercedes of the Joe 2 guy. Oh, contact again into turn 1. Surprised with the contact they've been having. They haven't been picking up damage. I suppose in the States rubbing is racing. Oh, it's extremely close stuff at the front. On board now with the Aston Martin of Roland. Will that V12 be able to power them down the inside? Indeed. Do they get it to stick? Oh, bit of a slide. Will the McLaren be able to come back at them? No. But look how much the Mercedes has gained from this battling at the front. They're well within the slipstream range at this point. As slight clip of the wall from Benji. Let's see what kind of speeds the McLaren can get up to in the slipstream. You can see how the tyres have worn as well throughout this race. I don't think they're going to be close enough for a move into turn 1. So that is interesting to note. We're going to quickly go check on some of the others. Fred up into 6th, that's a good drive by them so far. Swablu 7th. A lot of these sort of spread out at the moment then. Rappy and Wybear close together, so the NSX versus the McLaren. What can the NSX do in the straight? In real life, I know that the Acura NSX is quite well known for being a good GT3 in the straight line. We're about to see if its Group 3, rather, counterpart is similar. Round side by side through turn 1. Wybear with the right line to go into turn 2. Very close to doing a Ninja Karma there. I had flashbacks of NES Season 4 all over again. Bit of a twitch from the McLaren. That's going to be Wybear up a position. Back to the lead scrap. The Mercedes down the inside. Mistake from the McLaren of Benji. Their tyres are really starting to go off, and now Joe has Roland all to himself at the front. Gonna see if he can make a move. It is the last lap of the race. It's got traffic up in front as well. That's the Ferrari of Bad Dogs. What can Joe do here as they make their way under the bridge? Will it be enough? Blue flags being waved off the track. Goes the Ferrari. Good sportsmanship in that sense. Will it be a drag race to the line? They'll have the slipstream. Out the second to last corner, they're going on to the banking. What can the Mercedes do? I don't think it's going to be enough. It is going to be Roland Jupiter taking the first win here at Blue Moon Bay Speedway. Fantastic result for them. Joe is going to get second, Benji third. What a fantastic duel we saw between all three of those. Rotary making their way out the final corner. They are going to take fourth. Carbon will take fifth, or will they, because the other BMW M6 right behind. I think Carbon's just about going to get it on the line, are they? Yep. Fred will be in sixth. Swablu seventh. Hagee in ninth. Hold up, getting keys wrong. It's going to be Arama in eighth, then Hagee in ninth. Weiber in 10th. Rappy will come on across the line 11th, just ahead of Tribe in 12th. And it's going to be John Wandering, the last of the finishers there, you see, on the lead lap. There are your results. Carbon, the only one to get a corner cutting penalty throughout that. Interesting of note. And there is your race winner. Race 6 positions, it is Roland Jupiter, winner of race 1. Congratulations to them. But of course the action doesn't stop here. We have race 2 coming up, the 40-minute, and it's going to hopefully be twice as much action, being twice the length. Perhaps we'll see a bit more reserve driving styles because of the length as well, but who knows. That was certainly action-packed. Dredgen asking if he can hop in. Yeah, there's a lobby space. Unless you perhaps meant the stream, which you could do as well. Here are your results again then. Roland Jupiter with a win in the opening round of the DRL X NES GT Championship. That's going to certainly look good for them back at the Arrows Racing team. The Joe 2 guy starting very far down the order thanks to the randomizer app. Now up into a very good starting point for race 2 in second. I couldn't quite find enough pace to get the win. May have got him if there was another lap, but it just wasn't to be. Benji, fantastic drive by the newcomer from Malta. So they're certainly proven to be one to watch out for. Great battle in that McLaren. Rotary fourth there, you see 19 seconds back, but the top three separated by less than a second. That's hopefully going to be the norm throughout this championship. It seems we're having a little bit of a break at the moment. The replay data. Of course I can save that. That was a very exciting way to start the season. Big up to Priceless347 for liking my activities. That was quite the opening round. I hope, like, if that doesn't get you excited for the rest of the season, I honestly do not know what will. Maybe race 2 will. That was some very juicy action. I can imagine that the stewards are going to have quite a lot of stuff to do though, so great, just great. Here we see again the cars, and here's the actual the BOP of all the cars, in case anyone was curious as to what Gran Turismo does. So you can certainly see the likes of the GTRs and the 600 bhp club, they having an advantage at these kind of circuits, although none of the GTRs made the top 3. The highest one was Rotary, I believe, who came P4. Also looking quite strong with the Aston Martins for power. It's interesting to know. Everyone typing if they are ready or not. So I believe race 2 is about to get underway as well shortly. So if you enjoyed race 1, be sure to leave a like on the stream. It certainly is much appreciated by both me and Carbon. Perhaps if you're going to be sticking around on the channel, why not consider subscribing as well? Gonna have plenty of juicy content coming up for you as the 8-round season continues. Just to annoy everyone. Okay, so the grid will be the results of that last race, which should see race winner Roland on pole position in that Aston Martin. Going to be a rolling start again. Fantastic reaction we saw in chat during all that. Fred isn't on the circuit, so that needs to be changed. Drag them on circuit if you have to. Everyone's just atting them. Rappy into the wall. If you're going to make mistakes in practice. That's what it's there for. And here is our race 1 winner. Looking very, very strong indeed. And the final is finally about to start again. Tribe doing a slide, because why not? And here we go, the 40-minute race. Will it be as juicy as race 1? We are about to find out. Here we see Roland on pole, Joe in second, Benji third, Rotary fourth, Carbon fifth, Fred Dude in sixth, Swablu 7th, and Arama in 8th. There we go, everything's set up. Rolling start again. Will Roland be able to repeat their success, or will Joe, now that he's higher up the order, be able to take advantage of his starting position and get away with it? We're about to find out as we are 3, 2, 1, and lights out, and away we go. Oh, I said the wrong one. Green, 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 and the cars are off. Down towards turn 1 again. Should be fairly straightforward at that rolling start speed. Indeed, seems everyone's getting through there nice and safely. But already right onto the back of the Aston is the Joe 2 guy, as someone has actually gone off at the back. I'm not sure who it was. Oh, it's Bad Box again, the Ferrari. They really haven't gelled with that car. As we're now seeing Carbon and Fred coming together, the two BMWs side by side through the hairpin. And also Arama losing out a bit to Swablu, or are they? Around the outside they try and go. They just about hold on to it, and Fred's also positioned. They're up to P5. But here we go then. What can the Mercedes do in the slipstream? Is it going to be enough to make a challenge? Down the inside Joe goes. I think they are just about alongside. Yep. Into the lead goes Joe of the Fire. It's going to be very difficult trying to get back past him again, but we've saw what Roland can do in that Aston Martin. Fred all over the back of Rotary as well. Pro versus Am split. Oh, bit of a twitch from the car of Fred dude. That's also allowing Carbon to be slowed down, and Swablu coming into the mix as well. Oh, and that is Rotary rotating around, living up to his name. As round the outside goes Arama in that Audi. So much going off, and now around the outside of Hagee. Is he going to try it? Don't quite think the Audi has the acceleration. Gonna try something in the slipstream perhaps. Hagee doing a good job up to 6th already. As we already seeing a couple hitting with damage. As that's a very sideways Arama. That's allowing Wybear to get up alongside. Will Wybear be able to get up a position on the grass? Oh, and that is... who was that? That's Rappy. Just getting it wrong. They did what Bad Box did race 1, and there's absolute chaos down at that corner now, as someone else has gone off. It was Swablu. What happened to Swablu? Oh, so it was the Unghosty just absolutely pinged him off into the wall. That's extremely unfortunate. Glad we managed to catch that on replay. Of course, they all a bit confused as to what happened themselves. As we are seeing now, Joe is indeed extending the gap. They've broken the slipstream down to Roland. Two BMWs still going at it, Carbon and Fred. BMWs have been strong in the past, in DRL especially, at this circuit. Carbon with a lot of experience being the series organizer of DRL, of course. As onto the grass goes Tribe Racing. That allows Wybear to get up into seventh. I'm losing my mind already. We haven't even gotten past lap 5 yet. Apologies for that. Let's see. The BMWs again. Slight graze against the wall from Carbon. Here we are, the rear wing cam, looking back at the Starscream Enterprises BMW. Carbon defending the middle of the road. Fred goes to the inside. Will they be able to get it done? Just about. Oh no, Carbon's going to hang it around the outside. Just about. Are they still side by side? No, Carbon just slots ahead. Well defended. As that's the Ferrari again. Bit scary on the rejoin from them. What happened this time? Did they have damage? They did indeed. Just trying to get out of the way and then onto the grass. Just really not working out for them with that car. And there's collision with one of the Aston Martins. That is extremely unfortunate. We just cut back to see that. I fear that maybe Hagee. Indeed it is, and they've picked up suspension damage because of that. So Carbon's starting to get a little bit of breathing room over Fred. Hagee, they're staying out. They think they can get to the end without damage, although I should say race 2 does have a mandatory pit stop, so they'll be trying to drive to an end and then probably pit to repair it. At the same time they have to serve that mandatory stop. Rotary managing to just about find their way through as that is Bad Box who was paused. Carbon still having to defend. This is the closest battle on circuit at the moment between these two BMW M6s. Down the straight they go again. Carbon defending the inside. Will Fred Dude have to go the outside? Will he opt to? No, he chooses to just stick behind for now. Bit of a different entry from them. Fred looking to get a bit of a cutback, and indeed does get it. Fred with a far better run through turn 1, down the inside, and Fred gets the position. Carbon with a little bit of a run. Fred just about manages to close the door. Meanwhile, a bit further up, it seems something was going off. That's one of the other McLarens. Where's the other McLaren at? It's Rappy. It must have picked up damage or something at some point, as there's a spin. I'm not sure who the spin was. Apologies, let me just quickly see if I can find it on here. I think it may have been a Rama. Yep, into the wall they went, and it was the rejoin where they just spun it round. So damage for them. Gonna have to get back on their way. Joe extending their gap. Purple through sector 1. Flash of the lights from Roland in second, Benji third, as teammate lets them go through. Carbon fourth. That's Fred! Fred into the wall. What has happened to Fred? Was there contact with Carbon? We're going to have to go for an exterior view just to see exactly what happened. Was it contact going through here? No, no contact, just a mistake on Fred's part. Round he goes. Now he's under threat from Y-Bear, that is, in the Honda NSX. So Fred, he doesn't even have damage, so that was a very uncharacteristic mistake. Tips and tricks for the people watching. Run ABS is certainly one of them. Bad box. Definitely recommend that in the future. For this particular circuit, I'd say for turn 1 you need higher suspension, as side by side they go through turn 1. But yeah, it's very key because of how bumpy the entry and exit is for turn 1, that you have your suspension raised more than normal. Then again, with the straights you have here, perhaps running a bit of a lower downforce setup can work to your benefit. Things starting to settle down a little bit. Yep, Dredgen also in chat. Don't type while you're racing is another good one. Tribe currently 8th. They're pretty much on their own at the moment. 9th is Rotary. 10th are Armour at the moment. Swablu in 11th. That is not where we expect to see them. Of course, NES Pro Split. John Wandering, they're down in 12th at this stage. Nice helmet. Rappy lost a fair bit of time as well. They were our pole sitter, if you remember, in race 1. Gap seems to have stabilized at around 3.7-ish seconds between Roland and Joe. Looking if there are any battles going off. Fred seems to have gone away from Y-Bear for now, so the NSX seems to have lost a smidge of time. Going across everyone here. No actual battles going off at the moment. Fatbox just staying paused and ghosted. As... was there a bit of a collision? Somewhere I couldn't quite tell on the track map. Thought something went off. Joe doing a very good job. Now the gap is starting to extend as soon as I mention it's stabilizing. So he shut me up. Ah! Carbon and... that's not Ben Sheets' McLaren, that is the other McLaren of Rappy, I believe that is, up ahead. So it says Ben Sheet is 7 seconds up the road, and by my eyes that gap is by no means 7 seconds. Joe of the Fire with a 106.1, that is the kind of pace we saw from him in the practice sessions. So very solid stuff by the TSR member. Oh, look at that, between Fred and Hagee. That's actually quite close on track as well, so gonna watch this for a little while. Making the way through turn 4. Gonna try the best as Carbon has managed to get up ahead of that McLaren. Under the bridge, down towards the hairpin. Hagee leaves a gap and Fred takes it. Fantastic exit from the BMW as well. Hagee not seeming to put up too much resistance. Perhaps knowing that he can probably get a decent shot of getting him back on the straight. Although Hagee's still suffering with that suspension damage he picked up earlier on. As that is Fred being almost forced off onto the apron by the McLaren of Rappy. A bit further down, you're seeing John Wandering sort of in the middle of traffic at the moment. 13 seconds to the car ahead, 21 to the car behind. Rotary pretty much by himself on circuit, very alone. As, oh, was there a little bit more contact between the McLaren and the Aston? Let's see what happened here then. We're on board with Hagee's car. So the McLaren just oversteered a bit, and there's the contact. No more damage than he already had. Just seemed to step out on him. As someone is off at the hairpin. I'm gonna quickly see if I can find who it is. Someone. It's Rappy. So what happened to Rappy? They're just going slowly. Did they just park the car? No damage. That's unfortunate to see. Rappy pretty much calling it quits, it would seem, from there. Indeed, they are still parked at the hairpin. They're causing yellow flags by doing so. meaning it's no longer an overtaking opportunity, I should say, as that Mercedes in the back getting very sideways. That would be the Mercedes of Tribe, down in 11th. Let's just see what happened with them here. Did they just get on the grass? Yep, run it a little bit wide. Lost a bit of time. And that allowed that Aston Martin to go through. Into the pits comes Tribe. Oh, he's picked up really heavy engine damage. That might also have something to do with it. Back onto the circuit they go. Yellow flags still at the hairpin. If you are going to call it quits, if you could leave the circuit to stop causing the yellow flags, it would be appreciated. Benji doing a good job in the other McLaren, meanwhile, in third. Fourth is still Dynamic Carbon. Fifth is Fred Dude, who seems to have lost a fair bit of time. Over Carmen anyway, those two worked together earlier on in the race. And I believe that is the flags gone down there, so much appreciated, Rappy, for doing so. I know it's you know, not the easiest situation to be in, but of course thanks for removing yourself and removing the flags. So we are on lap 16 of this race. Joe still leads from Roland and Benji, so it's pretty much as you were since relatively early on. No real changes towards the sharp end of the field. Then it's this guy Carbon, who is currently fourth. They're chasing down John Wandering, who is a lap down. Flash of the lights. And indeed, the BMW does go through. The Mercedes runs a bit wide as well. I wonder if that Mercedes is in a battle with them right now. In fact, they are. This is a battle, a lap down, but a battle nonetheless for position. John Wandering and Tribe. We're going to go for a rear wing cam on the Lexus. Let's see what the Mercedes can do in the slipstream. Will John go defensive into turn one? Here comes the slipstream. Tribe looking down to the inside. And just about gets that move stuck. Yep, Tribe up a position. That is 11th for them. And John Wanderer's actually run a bit wide, and they oversteer on the exit of turn 4, nearly colliding with Fred Dude. Good that there was no collision, but unfortunate to see cameras. Still plenty of the race to go. We're just about approaching the half race distance marker. As into the pits comes Benji. As soon as I mentioned so, this is going to be a scheduled pit stop. No damage for them. So it's going to be a bit of an undercut attempt. Will they come out in traffic? Yep. One car, it would seem. Although the Mercedes might be able to get a bit of an overlap on them. No, not quite. So Benji going for an undercut. So we're at the point of the race where strategy is starting to get involved. Will Joe in the Mercedes here be able to counter that? We'll have to see. Here you also see the bright green Audi R8 in the background as well, and indeed Joe does cover off that strategy, pitting in the lap after. Dead on the half race distance marker, as he normally does. The professor knowing what he is doing. Roland also in the pits. Carbon making a pit stop as well now. So the undercut hasn't really worked. There was too big of a gap, I'd say. Someone going very slowly at wherever that was. Was it Bad Box? I'm gonna quickly check. Something seemed to go off at turn 2. Don't know whether it's just because he was paused or something. Yeah, it's just the AI going slow, so it's caught me out. My apologies for that. There's a bit of a scrap going on here. That's Y-Bear, who's managed to catch up to the back of Fred, dude. Both of these guys have made their pit stops, have they? No, actually. Y-Bear has not gone for fresh tyres yet. Which is a surprise, because those two were close together earlier. So Y-Bear does still have a mandatory pit stop to serve, I think. Let me just quickly check the live timing. I believe it should say somewhere. Apparently not. Apologies for that. Fantastic data you get on this game though. So Fred starting to get a bit more of a gap. Now he's on that fresh rubber. Gotta think, as Y-Bear left their pit stop for tyres a bit too late. Carbon also doing quite well for himself. Here's Rotary in one of the GTRs of Paradox, running a bit wide out of turn 4, manages to keep it together in the Minty Boy. I'm telling you, it's that green aerodynamics on the rear of the car that's keeping it in check. Scientifically proven by Nukeshot Industries. So much to keep track of. Tried pretty much by himself at the moment. That might be a corner cut penalty. It was certainly close. He's currently on for his best lap of the race. Blue flag's being waved, and he gets out of the way. Benji had a bit of an oversteer moment today. I'll quickly check. It may have been going through the hairpin. McLaren does get a bit slippery at times. It wasn't there, that's for sure. Perhaps I missed that. Apologies. So the field spread out a fair bit. I think Carbon is closing down the gap. Oh, that was Benji going onto the grass a bit. Let me check their tyres. They're alright. They did pit not too long ago. But if you look at the delta, Carbon in 4th is certainly closing down the gap. Oh, it was at turn 4, was it? And the replay function is a keyboard thing that you can do if you plug in a keyboard to your PlayStation. Now you know. Fred Dude will be benefiting from a bit of slipstream from the Mercedes. They're on their mission to catch up to Carbon. The Mercedes surely will let them go. A bit of onion barges down the straight. And indeed, Mercedes doesn't put up much resistance. The gap between Carbon and Benji, 3.6 seconds. Everyone very spread out at the moment. Again, we'll keep on looking for different scraps. Rotary being caught by their teammate a little bit. Although Rotary's cars seem to be a bit faster on the straights, perhaps they're running a little bit less downforce in that green GTR, although that wouldn't make any sense because it's green. Oh, and it's actually made a mistake going through turn 3 at the kink. Just ran a bit wide. There was a smidge of a lag spike from Swablu. Just hope that was just on my end. But yeah, the two GTRs are starting to come together. Going to be an interesting scrap. The two fastest cars on the straights. They haven't been doing as well as I would have expected for Paradox Auto Works, unfortunately. Especially at this sort of a Roval-based circuit where there's a lot of high-speed sections, but nevertheless, still going along. There's a lot of race to go. We're 2/3 of the race done. Everyone has seemed to settle into a bit of a rhythm at this stage. Swablu well into the slipstream of Rotary, as that is Arama into the pits. Do they pick up damage? They have indeed. That's rear damage, so unfortunate for them. Here come the GTRs again. We're going to go on board with Swablu and the red machine. Of course, two teammates, bit of a rivalry we're about to see. These two have had quite a lot of chemistry and worked together for quite a while, both in the NES and leagues before. Here we're seeing the slipstream playing its part. Defensive to the inside goes Rotary. And again, seem to have a bit of a better run. So that again lends itself to the theory of it being a bit more relaxed on the aero. Oh, that's a bit concerning with the lag again into the braking zones. Those two sticking together quite well. You can sort of see the kind of speeds that the GTRs are able to carry through here, even in the dirty air. Down towards the hairpin, down the inside. Will they be able to get it to stick? Nope. It's been well and truly cut out. Oh, oversteer on the exit for Swablu. Surely they got to be close enough, as there's an off at the turn 4, I believe that is. Oh, and it's Carbon. What has happened to Carbon? They came together with the R8. We're gonna have to see what happened here, Chief. We're gonna check the R8 first. I think that was the initial mistake. Yep, running wide, heavy impact into the wall. And was it on the rejoin? What happened? Oh, spin! And there's the contact with Dynamic Carbon. Engine damage for them. The apologies have already been said. If that was the regular NES, that would be a safety car without a doubt. Oh, that's so unfortunate to see. Carbon was doing so well, fighting in 5th. And Arama has decided to retire the car. Although they better not have parked up on the side of the road. Oh, they have done. So that's going to be causing yellow flags again. So I'm just going to let you know that. They're at the top of the banking. and they must have just turned their PlayStation off directly. So that switched the cameras over to the Joe 2 guy, who's nearly got a 10-second lead at the moment over closest competitor Roland Jupiter. Roland has really improved a lot since the Super Formula days in DRL. It's fantastic to see. Benji, oh, into the wall, somehow avoiding getting damage. Oh, fantastic helmet. That Lando Norris decal I saw there. So up to 4th. Now Fred dude. Who, yeah, indeed, Carmen was actually 4th at that point before the crash. So Fred now promoted up to 4th in the other BMW. Wybear having a very good consistent run of things at the moment. They're on the fresh rubber now, so they've made that pit stop. I don't know if they made a 2-stop strategy given it's the NSX, another slippery car like the R8. Of course, nuke shot backing, hence the logo on the side. Big up my guy. So they're doing a really good job in that NSX. Hagee closing down a little bit in that other Aston Martin. Car 96. Should be good on the straights. Apparently not as good as the NSX. You see the delta increased nearly, yep, over 3 seconds. After the pit stop, Carwin in 7th. Swablu 8th at the moment. They did manage to get past their teammate and pull away with quite a gap now. Is that Tribe ahead? Nope, that's Joe who's going on to lap people. Tribe is here, just getting out of the way of Wybear. We'll perhaps be getting a bit of a slipstream off him as well. So we're down to 12 runners. Here's John wandering. Had a very good race 1. Less so in race 2, unfortunately. Just things haven't gone his way. He's only looking very competitive in race 1 especially. Look forward to seeing how he does throughout the rest of the season. Bad box, and that Ferrari really needs to get something sorted out. They're 6 laps down, although they have been paused. And there is our race leader. The gap's actually come down a bit, so Roland closing the gap a smidge. Now 8.5 seconds between them and Joe. Making the way through turn 3 and now turn 4. Very easy to carry too much speed through that whole section and run wide, as we've seen with the crashes there. Fastest lap of the race, meanwhile, bit of a recap. Not sure when it was set. It was set by this guy, Joe. 105.961. That's the first 105 I've seen. May have been one earlier on, but that really shows the pace of the Mercedes, especially as the fuel is burning off. There's a reason that they were back-to-back Manufacturer Series champions. Speaking of which, I'm not actually sure what's happened in the Manufacturer Series yet. Please, no spoilerinos. You can have as many rear wings as you like, just no spoilerinos, please. On lap 32 of 36, this race is coming to its climax. Roland's still an extremely consistent job. Last lap was a 106.999. Someone call the emergency services with that one. Oh, bit of a slide on entry from Benji. Benji has been the real surprise for me. I didn't know pretty much anything about this guy before today. He's certainly proving to be a very competitive driver. Look forward to seeing him throughout the rest of the championship. Remember, ballast will go 3% for first, 2% for second, and 1% for third of the points scored throughout both races today. So the points for today will be combined. And of course, the points scored today will go towards the World Championship as well as the Americas Asia Championship. So it's going to be dynamic, I suppose you could say, of how that's all going to pan out. Ferrari once again going a lap down, still paused. Has anything been going on? Not in particular. The gap's really grown a fair bit more between Rotary and Swablu. They're in 8th and 9th respectively. I mean, Swablu's 8th, Rotary's not. Dear. You won't have to put up with me much longer, don't worry, lads. Let's see what kind of speeds the GTR can hit without slipstream, shall we? 160 at the straight, so that's already equaling what the R8 can do. 167 miles an hour and braking. That is impressive stuff from the green boy. The fat boy. The whatever you want to call it, boy. Very worn tyres though. Of course, that heavy body. Although surprisingly light, it just handles heavy for some reason. Joe with just 2 and a bit laps to go. Still having to fight his way through traffic. I wonder how many cars are actually still on the lead lap. Let's have a quick check of that, shall we? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars, or 8 cars currently still on the lead lap. According to that, there you see Swablu up ahead, only, well, on the lead lap, but about to go a lap down. There you see it. Who would have thought that Swablu, of all people, would go a lap down? Certainly I didn't think that, as we've had someone go off at turn 2. It was Rotary. Was it? We're about to see. Someone had a bit of an off up there. Yep, indeed, into the wall they go. That's damage picked up for Rotary. Dredgen saying it's not a GTR track. It's interesting because you'd at least think it would, looking at the layout with the high speed sections. Yeah, you've got a couple hairpins in the second sector, but pretty much the only slowish corners on the circuit. But the GTRs really haven't turned up today. Only did a bit better in race 1, if I recall correctly. Well, we're on to the final lap, and it has been, ever since the overtake in the first couple laps, Joe has been absolutely dominant with this one. 10 seconds ahead of Roland at this point, as they make their way into the final sector of the final lap. It's all but confirmed. Doesn't hit the wall on the outside, doesn't need to push. Round the banking they go, and it is going to be Joe of the Fire, the Joe 2 guy, TSR Joe 2 guy, taking the race win here at Blue Moon Bay Speedway in the second race, the 40-minute marathon. Congratulations to them. Swablu also coming across the line, a lap down in 8th. Roland making their way across the line. Great result for them as well. A first and a second. That's going to look really good for them in the championship. I believe that means they're tied on points with Joe. Benji in the McLaren, another strong showing from them. They come across the line in 3rd. Fred Dude, we've perhaps been expecting a little bit more out of this race. They take 4th home. Wyber in the Honda NSX. Surprise package, seems to have done quite well for himself. Takes 5th. Hagee in 6th. They're about to come across the line. There you go. And Carbon, of course, one of the series organisers, the organiser of DRL, taking it nice and smooth. And across the line they come. Here are your order. Well, here is your order, rather. I can speak, trust me. And there's your race winner, fastest lap. And, of course, the victory to the TSR Joe 2 guy. Congratulations to them. That was a fantastic drive by them. Save that replay as well. Here are your confirmed results then. So 10 seconds was indeed the gap between them and Roland in 2nd. Benji 3rd. Fred 4th. Wyber 5th. Hagee in 6th. Carbon 7th. Could have been a lot better for Carbon if it wasn't that incident. Unfortunate to see. Swablu in 8th. Rotary 9th. Again, had a bit of an off, but luckily didn't lose out to Tribe, who was getting close on circuit. So Tribe in 10th. John Wander in 11th, and Bad Box 7 laps down because they were paused for the majority of the race in 12th. Of course, we did have a couple DNFs as well. Rappy and Arama. So again, plenty of action that we've seen again on the stream. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope this is a good sign of things to come with the DRL X NES GT Championship. I do indeed have that saved, so it will be uploaded, Dredgen, don't you worry about that. So, hope you've enjoyed the stream. Be sure to leave a like if you did. Consider subscribing as well to the channel. It has been a fantastic day out here in the United States. Blue Moon Bay Speedway has served us well, as it usually does in DRL, that's for certain. Hope you will be able to join us next week at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Relatively new to the game still. Only came out a couple months ago, I believe, or a month ago, I should say. So, gonna be interesting to see how the drivers adapt with that. First time DRL's going there. Of course, the NES guys have a bit of experience with their exhibition race. But until next time, I have been Supreme Overlord Radish, and this has been the Dynamic Racing League network of channels, not brought to you by Radio Show Limited or any of those things. And I will hopefully be racing next week. Hopefully it'll be JB Commentary who will be joining you in the commentary booth this next time rather. And until then, I will see you later, folks. Good night.